Today we're going to respond to viewer voice messages. All right, so before we get into the actual viewer messages, or the voice messages I should say, I want to react to a comment. So I do try and get into the comment section and reply to as many comments as I can. Sometimes it takes a couple days, but I definitely try and read them all, and I do try and reply to all of them. I do appreciate the comments very, very much. So I want to show this comment. I did not realize this was a conversation, so I wanted to address it because I know we have a lot of new viewers on the channel over the last couple of weeks. But shout out to JC Riator, who said these guys need to hop on the James Skrmetta train. Only some of the best Saints coverage. James is never wrong, never. Much appreciated. But then there was a comment that said, when you watch the videos before recording the video, it's kind of hard to be wrong. Nevertheless, still the best channel covering the Saints, hands down. And then, there was some conversation in there, and there was kind of this debate if I do watch the videos beforehand. So I just wanted to address that. I had no idea that was even a conversation. I do take it as a compliment, though. It's not a big deal. I take it as a compliment. I can hand up 100%, no problem explaining that I absolutely do not watch the video beforehand. I've never watched a video beforehand. And the reason for that is simply I do not have the time. That would be a crazy amount of time. I mean, the last couple of weeks we've done 2 videos a day minimum. So if each video is somewhere in the neighborhood of, let's just say 15 minutes, most videos are, I would say, probably around that 15-minute mark, then you're talking about 30 minutes a day of just watching videos every single day. So over the course of a week, you're talking about almost 3 hours of just watching videos. Like, the reason that we can put out as much content as we can put out is because the process is really fast. So to kind of show you, to kind of peek behind the curtain of how the content is made, I react to the video, I watch it live. I choose to watch it. Boom, I hit play, start the video, we rock and roll. Immediately after, since there's no editing, the only time I edit a video is if there's an ad in the video, and there's no sense in me watching an ad and then making you watch the ad on the video. That'd be crazy, right? So I edit out the ads, but there's no editing. So I watch the video, do my reaction. Usually takes somewhere in the neighborhood of 15 to 30 minutes, right? Is about the time of one of my videos. And then I export it or whatever, which takes another 5-6 minutes, and then I post it. So, or schedule it or whatever happens. So the whole process to do a video for me only takes the video plus about 10 minutes. So because it's that fast, I can do videos in the morning. I can do videos at lunch. I can do videos at night. I can do videos, like, if I have an hour, I can get at least 1, maybe 2 videos made, which is how we can kind of keep up with the amount of content that we're pushing out. Just to kind of real quick give a background on how I started making content. I made YouTube videos a long time ago, and I mean, I've been doing this for well over 10 years. And at one point, the videos were very scripted. They were kind of like an H3, if y'all remember that channel. They had skits in them. They had like a lot of editing. At one point, I was doing kind of like a weekend update kind of thing, which was very editing intensive and research intensive and planning. And those videos took days. Some of those videos took like days and days and days. I have a video on the channel where I gave a monologue like I was at the Oscars, and that video took, I mean, so long to do. Just the different angles, writing it, scripting it, editing it, all that stuff. And so I tried that for a little while. It was fun, but again, it was so intensive. And then I started to, during COVID, I wasn't working, so I streamed every day. I streamed for like 5 on Twitch. And a lot of people have asked me if I have a Twitch channel. I do. It's in the description. Go over there. But I used to stream every single day on Twitch for like 6 to 8 hours a day. And we did a lot of gaming, played a lot of FIFA, played a lot of other stuff. Fortnite when it first came out. Had a ton of fun over there. A lot of the guys from the Twitch era are still very active. The boys, I mean, the Moderation Sensation crew, Bucks, Crafty, All those guys are OG members of the streaming time. But towards the end of my streaming career, I started to just react to videos. And I would just have chat send in videos all day, and I would just sit there and react to them. And then after the stream, I would just cut the individual topics into YouTube videos. And that's what kind of gave me this whole idea of man, that's a great way to do content because it's so fast, it's so efficient. I can just really get content out there. And at the time, my channel went from 50 views a day to 300 views a day. So I was like, okay, this is working. This is good. And so I've just continued that style. That's just that is the style of how it's made. I actually did have someone ask me about this a couple of months ago, and that's why I started to stream on Thursday nights. I did a bunch of streams the exact same way I do it now, where I just reacted to the video, and I did it in front of hundreds of people. I mean, we streamed the entire first round of the NFL draft. We were live for 4 hours in front of 500 to 1,000 people. It didn't miss a beat. That's how I prefer to do. If I had all the time in the world, I would stream every day. I would go live every day, and I would do these reactions live as a radio show type thing, and then I would just put the videos out later. But I don't have that kind of time right now. I wish I did. But so just real quick, just wanted to hit on that. I've never ever, I can honestly swear, hand up, I have never watched a video beforehand and then reacted to it. It would just take all the authenticity out of the video. I like it because it's like a conversation. I look at it as a conversation. It's a simulated conversation between me and whoever's on the video. So if I'm doing an off the bench video, it's a simulated conversation between me, T-Bob, and Jacob Hester. If I'm doing Rich Eisen, it's a simulated conversation between me and Rich Eisen. That's how I look at the video. So if I pre-watched it, I'm not giving a video essay. If I pre-watched the videos, it would be more of an essay type thing of where you hear the sirens? I'm presenting an argument. The way my videos are, it's much more of a conversation. So just want to throw that out there. I do not watch the videos beforehand. I never have. I do take it as a compliment because that means that they're sitting there thinking there's no way he can be this right. There's no way he can be this on the ball, to where the only explanation is that he watches the video. So I do really appreciate that that people think that. But like I said, in fact, I do not watch the videos beforehand. So there you go. Hope that calmed a lot of y'all's suspicions. Okay, let's go ahead and let's go to the Meat Father. I know the Meat Father is going to ask about Survivor. The Survivor contest, we have announced our pick in every single one of these videos so far this season. So I know he's going to ask about it, so let's start with him.
Meat Father's back, James. The Meat Father is back. We went 50% this weekend on the Survivor pool. The Ravens busted, but the Commanders hung on. So our riskier pool is still rolling. I'm looking at the Browns, and I'm looking at the Seahawks.
Okay.
You got the Giants heading into Cleveland, and you got the Tua-less Dolphins going into Seattle. Let me know what you think.
Okay, yeah, last week, so he said, what about Washington? I said, that is risky business. I did not, I advised against it, and I said, pick your favorite out of Baltimore, Houston, and the Chargers, I believe, are the three teams I gave him last week. I went with the Texans. The Texans got there. The Chargers also got there. The Ravens did not. Now, I will say about the Giants and the Commanders, Meat Father, you should be very happy because the Commanders, only team in NFL history, are the Giants. The only team in NFL history to score 3 touchdowns, not allow a touchdown, and lose. Think about how insane that is. If I told you that one team scores 3 touchdowns and one team does not score a touchdown, you're thinking, no doubt about it, that the other team won. 7 field goals, and then the Giants kicker gets hurt, so they can't kick field goals or extra points. So that's how it ended up being a weird score. This week is really tough. So this week, I have not locked my picks in yet. This week, I'm between the Browns. I agree with you on the Browns thing. There are some injury concerns as of right now. Myles Garrett has not practiced this week. If he's out, that's scary. I'm between the Browns, the Buccaneers. Bo Nix is absolute garbage. He's going on the road to face the Bucs. Todd Bowles has been really good against rookie quarterbacks. I am concerned about the fact that the Bucs are also very injury riddled, so I don't like that. And then the Bengals on Monday night would be the safe pick. So I think the Bengals win that game. They're playing the Commanders, who didn't deserve to win. The Bengals are 0-2 at home. Little extra rest for them. I do like the Bengals. So I'm between those three. I haven't decided yet. The Seahawks isn't, and that's not a bad one. The only thing about the Seahawks is that Miami to Seattle is the longest domestic flight possible in the NFL. But Seattle did just play an overtime game in New England. So Seattle had to fly from New England to Seattle. So the travel is a little closer than if they were like just sitting at home waiting for Miami to do that. But don't forget Skylar Thompson in the playoffs. They scored like 31 points. So he's shown he can kind of hang in there. This is a really tough week though. Really tough week. But I'm between those three teams, Cleveland, Bucks, and Cincy. I thought about the Jets Thursday night, but the Jets travel and scheduling spot, it didn't line up for me, so I didn't use the Jets. But there you go. So yeah, that's my Survivor pick. Good stuff, Meat Father. I hope you survived this week, my man. Survivor is the most fun you can get in football. Marcus, cool way to spell Marcus. Throwing the K in there, MARK, US.
Hey James, look, I'm one of your listener from France. I love your show. I love what you're doing. I want to share something. I have a request.
I want to share something. Mark, hold up, brother. I want to share something. Fun fact about me. I'm a French minor. So I have my minor from college, in my undergrad. My major was in journalism. My minor was in 4 languages, French. So there you go.
A request. My little cousin has been busting my balls ever since the beginning of the season, because he's persuaded that, if it comes out to QB2, we would make, Spencer Rattler play rather than Hainer. And I'm trying to explain to him that it's not about who's the best in this case. It's about playbook depth, consistency, and also, loyalty at some point. And I was like, oh, this is interesting. I hope James can talk about it one of these days and just, share other examples of teams who have absolutely amazing quarterback threes in the past that waited for an entire year before getting a shot, even though they looked, quote unquote, more ready on paper, because I know it's a big thing and I know that it's so difficult, but you would save my life, and he watches your show, so he would actually get his answer there. Thank you, man. Love the content. God bless.
Unbelievable. The international superstar right here. Look, this is a great question, and I certainly can speak to this. Rattler is the better quarterback between him and Hainer. I think we all agree with that. If Carr were to get hurt, depending on the Saints situation, I would think that they would try and protect Rattler's development. I think him and Hainer are close enough to that they would go with the veteran. They would go with Hainer. They have way more risk of messing up Rattler's development and forcing him out there too early, which you can see with Caleb Williams, which you can see right now with Bo Nix. I can guarantee you if they could do it over again, the Bears would not have started Williams. The Broncos would not have started Nix. I guarantee you they would have chose to just slowly develop them. I don't think the Saints have any reason to rush Spencer Rattler. I think Hainer is more than capable of running this offense. And I think the Saints would be happy with letting Hainer get his shot, because there's no clock on when you have to start Rattler, and allowing him to sit, chill, relax, develop, and then in the future he takes over. The only thing you would risk is if Hainer is really, really, really good, what do you do? And that's a good problem to have. But yeah, I agree. I do not think they would start Rattler unless it was a situation where it was like Carr gets hurt in the NFC Championship game they have to win it, then that might be a situation where it's like winning that game is more important than the risk assessment of the future development of Spencer Rattler. And if they believe that Rattler gives them the better chance to win, they probably would play him in that situation. But if Carr got hurt, this week, I think we'd see Haener before we saw Rattler. Now, if Haener got in there was bad, I think they would then turn to Rattler. But I think Haener would get the first look. I mean, he is the veteran out of the two, even though it's only by a year. But good question. Yeah, I've covered this a few times on some videos. If he wants a longer form answer, I've got a few Spencer Rattler versus Jake Haener videos out there. He can watch those. But yeah, short answer is I believe they would go with Haener first. I think it makes total sense to go with Haener first. Anonymous, you are up next.
Hey, James, I haven't watched the games yet this week, but I did have a thought about something you said earlier about the Atlanta Falcons and their timeline to switch from Kirk Cousins to Michael Penix. I do believe that their first or Michael Penix's first start will be against the New Orleans Saints, simply because I know the Saints last year were not the greatest facing against rookie and or second-string quarterbacks. So I'm thinking that they're going to try to do that against the Saints when they first play this season. And also it's a division game, so it'll be a way to throw the Saints off also.
So I think the Eagles saved Kirk Cousins' career. Or not career, but time with Atlanta. Because if they lose that game, then they're playing the Chiefs. Then they're playing the Saints. All right, like there's a really good chance their Cousins could have gone 0-4 with losses to the Steelers, the Eagles, the Chiefs, and the Saints. At that point, they might have turned to Penix. I think because Cousins got that win, they'll stick with Cousins. The problem with that, the switching to Penix thing is if you choose to switch to Penix, you probably aren't going back to Cousins. And if you do go back to Cousins, it's because of how bad Penix is. And if Penix is bad, then you have to wonder, why did you switch to him in the first place? So I think Cousins got a little bit of help from Philly. But I think if they lose that game and they get smoked at home against the Chiefs, it gets smoked by the Saints, I think, yeah, Cousins probably would have got – there would have been a serious discussion of, do you turn to Penix, for sure. So I think Cousins will go a little longer unless, obviously he gets hurt or something. But I don't hate the idea. The line of thinking is directionally probably right, but I think Cousins will be the starter against New Orleans. Cole, see what you got.
So, what's up, James? I'm
What's up, big
recording
dog?
this about the start of the fourth quarter versus the Cowboys, and yeah, the game's pretty much over. But I'm calling it right now. My season prediction is Alvin Kamara is going to go for 1,000 rushing yards for the first time in his career this year. Also, side question of the day: if a tree falls in the forest, but no one's around to hear it, did it really make a sound?
Number one, I agree. Alvin Kamara is going to go over 1,000 yards. It's crazy. We covered this in our betting guide, but his rushing yards was like 630. Like, imagine having that ticket. Imagine if you watched my videos and went down there and bet that. We covered Olave. We covered Alvin. That's when I gave out the Saints over 7.5. Yeah, I mean, I will tell you this right now. Between me and you and the camera, I got an Alvin Kamara Offensive Player of the Year ticket this week, 20-1, because if he keeps this up and quarterback play is this down, there's no reason he can't win the award. There's no reason he can't put up numbers similar to CMC. And, he's just playing out of his mind right now. I mean, 1,000 yards, yeah, I think he will. And like I said, it's insane that 2 weeks ago you could have got Alvin over, it was like 640 yards or something like that for the rushing for the season. Crazy. If a tree falls in the woods, does it make a sound? It's always interesting. It's like the refrigerator light. Y'all remember being kids, or even if you do it now, it's okay. It's no judgment here. But I would always try and close the fridge just slowly enough to see the light. Like, is the light on? Is the light off in the fridge? And I can never tell. So, but a tree is similar. If no one's there to hear it, did it actually happen? Same with a hole in one. You know, like you never want to hit a hole in one by yourself. You know, you always want to have someone around, because if you hit one by yourself, it's a lot less cool. Did it really happen? But great questions. I like the side questions. I love when y'all sprinkle in the non-football questions. CJ, so nice he had to do it twice, or her. I don't know yet. But yeah, he goes back to back. CJ, let's start us off.
Hey James, hope you're doing good. I gotta say, I don't know how we're gonna figure out, when are we gonna actually lose? Obviously,
Yeah.
We could potentially lose to the Eagles and the Chiefs, but outside of that, and then we could also split the Bucks and the Falcons.
I think the Chiefs are the worst matchup for us. Their defense, they like to do what we're going to ask them to do. Like, they are totally fine with this like 4 defensive back base defense. They're totally fine to do what, and they're totally capable of stopping this offense. Just ask the 49ers in multiple Super Bowls. So the Chiefs are the best, or the team that's the most capable of stopping us, I think, early on.
But really, outside of that, I don't really see when we can really lose. Maybe the Rams too later on in the season, but that's really even hard to say because of how good we're playing. And again, like I said, we still have Eagles, Falcons in the away game, and then the Chiefs. But really, outside of that, this really looks like a 11-12 win team.
Yeah, agreed.
And again, I might be drinking the Kool-Aid, but fuck it, I don't give a damn. It's who that. We've been playing great.
Yep.
Man, I don't know. Just has been very impressive. I've been above expectations has been fulfilled. 100%. I just got to say, who that?
Who that?
Just who that?
No doubt. Hey, I agree. I think it's difficult. If you look at the schedule, it's very difficult to find a handful of losses. I think we beat Philly. So you're looking at Kansas City, split the Bucks games, and now all of a sudden it's like, okay, the Chargers on the road, coin toss maybe. Right now are better than Cleveland and the Rams. Those are both at home. But if the Rams do get healthy, coin toss maybe. And you're still sitting there at 13-4. I would have to try really hard right now to come up with 5 losses. Like 5 losses that make sense. Because the Bucks, they make sense. Like, they have a good, Vita Vea, he's hurt right now. But if he's playing, okay, tough defensive line. All right, maybe they could have some problems for us since we're just going to try and run the ball, what our offense does now. Okay, sure. But I have absolutely no reason to think the Panthers, the Falcons, the Raiders, the Giants, the Commanders, the Broncos, I guess Green Bay would be one. But right now, Jordan Love's hurt. So it's hard for me to say that too. But if Green Bay is Green Bay and Jordan Love is playing and he's healthy, and then, yeah, going to Green Bay would be difficult. So if you told me we lose to Kansas City, Green Bay, the Bucks, and that's it? Is that it? Bucks, Kansas City, Green Bay. Throw the Rams in there, I guess. But again, it's kind of hard to say right now. They don't have wide receivers. So 12-5, I think, is in play. 12-5 is not crazy. 13-4 isn't crazy. It really isn't.
I gotta start by saying fucking who that. We played our asses off against the Cowgirls.
Yeah.
I've been seeing though that people have been trying to say that Shaheed is more of a wide receiver one than Olave.
No,
I think that's crazy. No. It seems like
that is crazy.
They're trying to be results driven more.
Nailed it. CJ's been watching the channel. Yeah, 100%. People say that because Rashid has the big plays, but Olave has been playing A+. If you watch him, he's been incredible. So no, he is absolutely the wide receiver one. And it's funny that people do that because, back in the Green Bay days with Jordy Nelson and Randall Cobb, I remember a few times Jordy Nelson got hurt and Cobb really struggled as the one. It is not all the same. Being a wide receiver isn't just being a wide receiver. Sometimes receivers are much better in their certain position, whether it's a 2, a slot, a 3, a 1, whatever. asking Shaheed to be the one just to be the one for number sake is crazy. Olave is the one. Olave is, and what makes Shaheed so good, I think, is because Olave is the one.
Instead of actually really looking,
yeah,
and analytically looking at what's actually going on.
Yeah, agreed.
Because what I see here is Olave getting double covered. Olave is getting double covered because he's wide receiver 1. Say if he wasn't being double covered and just one-on-one.
I think a lot of it has to do also with this play action that we're doing. Like the fact that a lot of this is bringing the defenses up. Shaheed getting matched up with safeties, basically. The safeties not giving Shaheed the respect that he should have at this point, and they're just getting burned.
9 times out of 10, he's beating his man. He's beating his man 9 times out of 10. So, but in defenses know that. A lot of defenses know that, is that we can't leave Olave open. But then say if it was vice versa, if it was Shaheed being double covered, that means Olave is going to get open. That means whoever else is going to get open. But honestly, I think it's a great thing that Olave is getting double covered. Obviously, it's not great for fantasy. And probably, maybe if he, maybe wants to try to get some stats up, sure. But in the grand scheme of thing of the whole offense, that's a great thing, because if Olave is getting double covered, that means we have 2 defenders pretty much going off of the field damn near. And everybody else is pretty much left the one-on-one to create a play. And again, that's not even just Shaheed. It's just also going to be Foster, Jawan, Kamara, Taysom. It could be whoever. So again, I think that's a weird narrative and very dumb to say.
Yeah, I agree. I agree 100%. I think it is a really weird narrative. I think it's incorrect. It is results-based. That's people thinking like, okay, he has more yards, he has more touchdowns, therefore he should be receiver 1, but that's not how it works. Olave is receiver 1. He's proven he's receiver 1, and he's actually played really, really well this year. So, yeah, I mean, I don't get that. I don't get that narrative either. All right, Divine Eternity, go ahead and the main event. Send us off.
What's up, James? I'm recording this right after the Philadelphia Eagles just got a nasty taste of defeat from the Atlanta Falcons.
Ugly loss.
That was nasty. Like, it was cold and warm. Put your TV dinner back in the microwave nasty.
Yeah.
Like, it was definitely a game that they were supposed to win.
Yep. Coaching malpractice from Sirianni. He absolutely blew that game. Absolutely made a huge mistake in kicking the field goal. Real quick, I don't want to go into like a super deep game theory of why that was wrong, but when you kick the field goal there and you go up 6, you force Atlanta to score a touchdown. If you go for it on 4th down, like, yes, it was wrong to throw on 3rd down, but I mean, Saquon was open, he just dropped it, but it was wrong to throw it on 3rd down. They should have ran it for sure. But let's say on 4th down they go for it and don't get it. They're only up 3. Atlanta has the clock to worry about. Atlanta knows all they need is 3, so they are much less likely to rush down the field and try and score a touchdown. They're much more likely to get conservative around the red zone and kick the field goal and go to overtime. So Philly, by kicking that field goal, you basically give the only option to Atlanta to beat you, whereas before, if you don't kick it, you give Atlanta 96 yards or whatever to kick a field goal and you go to overtime. So the only way they could have lost is by the decisions that Sirianni made. Not to mention, if you go for it on 4th down, you could possibly get the 1st down and just end the game right there. So kicking the field goal was an enormous mistake It was an even bigger mistake than throwing it on third down. But if you run it on third down and then you go for it on fourth down, you are cooking with gas, and you definitely don't lose in regulation.
Anyway, about the Dallas and the New Orleans game. So the Saints traveled to Dallas and they crushed the Cowboys.
Smoked them.
And it was explosive.
No doubt.
And it was dominant. And
No
they're
doubt.
undeniably
No doubt.
a contender in the NFC.
Yes.
The training in 100 times Earth's gravity, like, really paid off. Salute to King Kubiak. But I was going to talk about the Saints win. Man, no team is doing what they're doing right now.
Nope.
It's only week 2. We're going into week 3, but they look like a Super Bowl team. At this point, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if we're 4-0 going into the Chiefs game.
Yeah, agreed.
But I want to say that the Cowboys, I don't think they're a bad team. I don't even think they're gonna have a bad year. I just think the Saints were just that much better.
Yeah,
and I think they're raising the bar right now. But yeah, that's all I got.
I agree 100%. I don't think Dallas is bad, and I think the Saints are a legitimate contender because what they are doing, it might not be statistically sustainable. They won't score 40 points every game. They won't average 4.33 points per possession, but they are going to do the same thing every game. Like, they are going to fundamentally do pretty much the same thing. They're not, like, if they were scoring on kickoff returns and punt returns and fumble returns and whatever, it's like, okay, that's not going to, like, that's all just so random. But the way that they're winning, just running the football, just play action, just that is absolutely able to carry over week in and week out, especially against bad teams. Like against the Washingtons, against the Carolinas, against the Giants, against the Broncos, against the Raiders. Like, when you're playing those teams, like, that is the system that works the most, you know? So the only games you have to worry about are games like against the Chiefs, you know, against the Bucs on the road, things like that. And it's just a perfect storm. And I think you do have to quickly reevaluate the Saints if you aren't, like, paying attention to the team, because their numbers are so drastically different than last year. Like, obviously something has changed. Obviously something has shifted. Okay, what is it? You know, and we've called this for months, but I think right now the Saints are clear cut the third team in the NFC. They are clearly better than Dallas. They are, I think, in a couple of short hours here, we will find out that they are much better than Philadelphia. And so then it's like, who? Okay, Green Bay. Green Bay doesn't have a quarterback right now. How can Green Bay possibly be considered the third best team? You know, so you're not going to say Atlanta. So if you tell me the Saints are the third best team in the NFC behind the Lions and the 49ers, that's absolutely a Super Bowl contender. Absolutely. And arguably, they should be ahead of the 49ers. Maybe even ahead of the Lions. You know, the 49ers have a ton of injuries right now. I'm right there with you, man. I mean, like, this week, I'll go ahead and tell you, I have had a lot of conversations about Saints NFC Championship tickets, Saints Super Bowl tickets, Saints Derek Carr MVP, Alvin Kamara Offensive Player of the Year, Alvin Kamara MVP, the Saints most regular season wins, Dennis Allen Coach of the Year. Like, all of that is in play. All of that's in play. The Saints, if they beat Philly, and let's say, I mean, God forbid if they beat the Chiefs, but let's say they hang tight with the Chiefs. And the Chiefs haven't looked that great either. The Chiefs absolutely should have lost to Cincinnati. 13 wins, 12 wins is not out of the question. And 13 wins more than likely gets you the most regular season wins in the NFL, especially if you beat the Chiefs. And right now that's 18-1 at MGM. Bet MGM, by the way. And again, if you're the third best team in the NFC, right now I think the Saints' odds to win the NFC are 14-1. You're going to tell me the third best team in the conference is 14-1? I don't think so, brother. So, and then if they do win the conference, or if they do have the most regular season wins in the NFL, Dennis Allen probably is your coach of the year. This is a guy who Colin Cowherd predicted to be the first coach fired. So it really is. It's so crazy because we're so close to the team. We're so close to all of this, but it really is all possible right now. Like, it really is there for the Saints because we know how good their defense is. We know how good these playmakers are. We have an 11-year sample size of Carr, of like the fact that he is an NFL starter. Like Sam Darnold in Minnesota, you could argue like he's going to regress. He has never been a successful starter in the NFL. Carr has been successful at times. So we do have a little bit of a, okay, yeah, he probably could do this. I'm not just drinking the Kool-Aid. I mean, at the same time, I am. But yeah, I don't think it's crazy. I don't think it's crazy right now to sit here and say that the Saints are a legitimate Super Bowl threat. I believe it. So, all right, good stuff. Thank you very much for the calls, ladies and gentlemen. Remember, if you want to express yourself, get in here, speakpipe.com. There's a link in every single one of my videos. There's a link to this, and you can go in there, drop a thought, question, comment, whatever you want, up to 1.5 minutes long, and you will hear it responded to right here on the fastest rising channel in New Orleans sports media. Thank you very much, everyone, for all the engagement, the comments, the questions, all of that. I much appreciated. Thank you, and I will see you in the next video.